A circular future requires us all to radically rethink and redefine products, systems, and business models. What does transformative innovation made for tomorrow require? And how do future-proof supply chain partnerships look like? Our second panel for the day will shed light on these questions. I'm joined for this discussion by Hans van Haarst, CEO at Smit and Zoon, Nanja Hedal Kløverpris, Project Lead Corporate Environmental Strategy at Novo Nordisk, and Jörg Witthöft, Senior Manager Remanufacturing at the ZF Group. Welcome and good to have you with us today.
Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you. Let us briefly start with a context setting and an introduction to your organizations. Hans, what is Smit and Zoon as a company, and what is your approach to sustainability?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Actually, since last week, it is Royal Smit and Zoon. As you know, as a company, we already exist 200 years. Business, the company is still family owned, so I think we're a very sustainable company and have practiced and done things over the past 200 years to provide continuity for the company, and that is basically our most important strategic goal for the future. Continuity for the company, continuity for the family business, and that means that we continuously need to work on continuity for the market and the business we work in, the ladder value chain. So for us, sustainability is really at the core of our strategy, and we use the sentence creating a socially and environmentally sustainable ladder value chain together. And I think that in itself already says enough on what we are and what we are doing.
Thank you, Hans, and we will dive a little bit deeper into that, of course, throughout the discussion. Nanja, please tell us about Novo Nordisk and your Circular 4.0 environmental impact strategy.
Yes, thanks, Christina. So Novo Nordisk is a global pharmaceutical company headquartered in Denmark and with the ambition to defeat diabetes and other chronic diseases. We developed a new environmental strategy a couple of years ago that we call Circular Zero. It has the ambition to have zero environmental impact. And the way that we want to achieve that is through circular economy. So having the circular economy and the circular mindset as the basis of what we do. And we are actually looking across the full value chain, looking at how we can make circular suppliers, how we can collaborate with our suppliers to take them on board the journey that we are on. We are, of course, also working with us as a company, not only in production, but also all the other things that we do, what we purchase, what we have activities, business flights, and so on. And then also you can say where we've really done a lot of new stuff is on circular products, and that is also, of course, a key topic for us today.
And we also have a third sector represented here today. Jörg, what does the ZF Group do, and what is the group's approach to sustainability?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, ZF is a big supplier for the automotive industry, and we produce roundabout in all over the world in 42 countries in the world, and 150,000 staff members all over the world. In 2020, around about 32 billion our products around the automotive industry, just gearboxes, power converters, so much more. And our target for the sustainability are that we would like to change from now till 2030 with 100% electricity And also, we would like to change that with the whole company, the company till 2022 100% neutrality CO2 status.
Thank you, Jörg, for this introduction. And let's dive a little bit deeper on your circularity and innovation approaches. Hans, how are you innovating for sustainable leather alternatives at Smit and Zoon? And which themes are you currently looking at in particular?
Okay. Now, I think in essence, it is very simple. Leather is a byproduct of the food industry, and if we don't turn that byproduct, the hide, into a useful article, you basically need to landfill it, or you need to burn it, and you're wasting it. So how we look at sustainability and also circularity is take that already material from a bio-based origin, and then turn it into a leather article, and help turn it into a leather article, which at the end of its life, and also the byproducts it produces during the transformation from the hide to a leather article, to close all those loops and all those circles. Now, and that means that you should not put things into the hide, which later on have a bad effect on the environment, or on workers, or on wherever the article ends up, the end consumers. Now, the themes, I think, are quite logical. Looking at bio-based alternatives for the petrochemical-based products we're using today. But also, I think an important theme is to look at alternative tanning agents. Chrome salts are still the workhorse of the industry. That chrome, at the end of the life of the leather article, ends up in the environment. So replacing the chrome again with better alternatives is a key theme of our research. And the way we're doing that is we've created a new company recently, kind of a startup company within Smit and Zoon, and it's called NERA, New Era. And in that company, which we manage as a startup, very agile, with different talents, with different competences, in addition to the ones you need for the leather value chain, we really are having and really trying hard to have an impact on creating circularity in the chain.
Mm-hmm. And Smit and Zoon has been on the Cradle to Cradle certified journey also for a while. So you hold Cradle to Cradle certified material health certificates for tanning and for retanning agents. And
Right.
could you share a little bit about this journey, what motivated the journey, and in particular how the framework also has helped inform your innovation process?
Yeah. You're right. Actually, this product fits in our new startup company, NERA. And when we started from scratch with this company and with this product, we basically said we need to do this differently right from the beginning. And certification, the material health certification of this product for us was very important, and not so much to have the certificate and put it somewhere on a website or on a product label, but I think the framework really helps to answer and to think about the product in ways a chemical producer not necessarily has done in the past. So it's kind of like putting a mirror in front of you, getting a wide range of questions, and really thinking through and really articulating what is your product, where is it good, where is improvement possible, and especially that aspect to see where you still can make steps going forward, is and was extremely helpful to us.
Indeed, it's really a continuous improvement framework.
Yep.
Jörg, ZF Group has been the first automotive supplier in the world to obtain cradle-to-cradle certification. Can you share with us what was the motivation behind that journey for you, and what are some of the key lessons learned?
Yes, thank you. Yes, right. We start very early with the system remanufacturing from products. We start in 1963, and our motivation was we would like to thinking how we can looking for the benchmark in the industry for this. And our first problem was we looking left and right, we're looking to competitors, we're looking to suppliers and also to customers, and everyone has the same problem. They have a system, maybe own system from customer or the own system from the supplier, but nobody have an international system for all the same, and we have all the same points inside. In the cradle-to-cradle standard, we find a system for the international standard, very clear and very easy to explain. And we thinking in our case how we can looking for a good benchmark with other companies, industry companies with the same or with a similar same branch. And in this case, we looking forward and we find the cradle-to-cradle standard. And from the 5 points we need for the cradle-to-cradle standard, we have maybe round about 4 full, and 1 is not really full for us. We had only the 100% electricity. It's not green electricity, is not full in our case, and we looking forward and we try to change the system. And our first product was one product, a pressure plate, a clutch part, and we certificated with standard in gold, and we are very happy about, and that was a journey for us to start the next product. And now we are more or less have all products and from our company certificated, and that was a big point for us to learn about the system and also to find a benchmark in the branch, in the industry, to can looking left or right and looking for us what can be improved, that we can be better in a range with other competitors.
Mm-hmm. And how has the framework helped you to make your product development, but potentially also production and the new business models that you put into place? How has this framework helped you to arrive at that, to inform on that, and to really help you being fit for the future in this regard?
Yeah, it's not too easy to answer with one short sentence. The problem was when you start with a cradle-to-cradle system, or when you start with a remanufacturing, you have in all cases the same situation. Some development department produce one product for one life circle. And when in our case we start very early, 1963, I told you before, we start to thinking about maybe after the first life, we would like give the part a second or a third life, or maybe more. We would like to thinking in closed loops and not for, I think, the rubbish box and not for waste. And our thinking was we must talk with our development department about what can we do, what can we change in the product, that the product have the same quality standard, the same life circle, and we can improve the product for the next or for the third life circle. And that was a big point. We must clear a long time before we start with the construction office and with the development office, and we talk about and we find a good agreement together to come up on the next level. And today we not discuss about why we have a second or third life in our product. We talk about how we can get a second or third life in our product.
Mm-hmm. Great, and we will dive a little bit deeper into your supply chain also in the further dialogue. Nanja, Novo Nordisk recently became the first company in the world to have cradle-to-cradle certified product according to our latest standard version 4. And you're also the first company in the healthcare industry to hold a certified product under our program. So what has motivated this ambition that you are clearly demonstrating with this achievement? And what were some of the lessons learned for you from this journey?
Yeah, so first of all, we're of course really proud of being front runners in this field. I think the motivation is, you could say, in terms of our packaging, our cartons, which is such a product that we have certified now. We needed to understand a bit more about our value chain and also be sure that what is actually in the product is not harming the environment. So that was actually also the starting point, saying, we don't really know what's in it. And we've learned a lot from this process, working with the supply chain, and also I would say it's been some hard work along the lines of this new certification. But I think it also proves that this is a very ambitious certification. And some of the learnings that we have had along the way is that we can actually, work with suppliers on this. Some of them are more willing to collaborate than others, but also that we get a better understanding of where is it that we have the soft spots, where is it that we should set more requirements to them to make them move in the same direction as us.
And has the process in some way helped you to innovate the supply chain of your carton box? And maybe a second question, what are your plans to potentially take it beyond packaging or to additional packaging to your actual products?
Yeah, so right now we are evaluating also based on the learnings that we've had, what is the good thing about this? What is it that we can do with this? I would say as such, we haven't changed a lot just within this first certification. I think the key learning here was actually to have the certification and find out how we document what we need to document and so on. But I think there's a lot of things that we can do in terms of setting requirements to our suppliers now that we know what would be the future requirements. And then also looking into, you would say, what is it? There's a lot of legislation coming up. There's a lot of REACH legislation, for example, and right now we are actually lacking a system to really, you could say, prove or document that we are within the legislation. That and that is where we can start building this into the agreements we make with suppliers, and actually documenting that we are even ahead of legislation on these products. So we are looking into, what can we do more on our packaging products, but also looking at, what are the opportunities within, for example, our medical devices, where there are currently some restrictions in terms of how far we could get. Also, being a pharmaceutical company with a lot of legislation on product safety and so on, there's some limitations to how far we can go, but we really want to push this in another direction. And also, I think the Cradle-to-Cradle certification is a good way of documenting this. Also, that being said, we do not have anyone requiring us to do this. We don't have customers as such, like the authorities of a country that would actually set requirements for us to do anything yet. But I think we will see that in the future, and we want to be prepared for the future.
You all have spoken to the supply chain, to the importance of collaboration. And Hans, how are you connecting the dots as a chemical manufacturer with the supply chain, with the value chain, with the customers that you are having? And how are you really pushing this new era for leather manufacturing with your partners?
Yeah. I think collaboration is probably the most important thing these days, because yes, you can make a product sustainable in your own company, but you really need to make a whole value chain sustainable. So I think collaboration throughout the value chains, really starting with the end consumer and then all the way back, is an essential thing. Now, In the leather value chain, I think we're fortunate that there is a number of quite good, excellent organizations which bring different parties together. There is the Leather Working Group, there is the ZDHC organization, there is the Sustainable Leather Foundation, there is Leather Naturally, and I think all in their own areas, what these organizations try to do, what these industry organizations try to do, is work on sustainability. So obviously, we play. We are not only participants, but we also play key roles in each of these organizations to connect the dots and to really not only find parties to collaborate with, but also be the catalyst for collaboration. The leather value chain is extremely fragmented with a lot of participants. There is some consolidation happening, which I think is good, but the industry will continue to be fragmented, and thus these type of platforms, which and industry organizations, which I described, are extremely important. We now also have with NERA, with our new company, the approach we're taking is also to offer knowledge and information via social media, via our website. And what we've experienced over the past 2 years, that also stimulates a lot of cooperation. Because knowledge can be the catalyst for cooperation as well. So you need to be open, you need to be willing to share, and you can always look at the other to start. But basically, we have decided to start, and we see a very good effect from that. And that is next to that you need to have a good product and a good solution and something innovative. But that in itself is not enough. We really need to collaborate. Now, recently, a lot of companies, a lot of brands are talking about LCAs, life cycle analysis. A life cycle analysis can only help on an article or on a product, a consumer product, can only be done in the proper way if there is good collaboration throughout the chain. So hence there's all kinds of stimuli at the moment to really get this collaboration going, and we're more than willing to, and we're actively participating in that.
Thank you. Jörg, also the automotive supply chain is quite complex, and as part of your efforts, as part of your Cradle to Cradle certified journey, how have you seen your supply chains evolve downstream and upstream?
Yeah, thank you. A little bit, let me look a little bit back. We start very early with our business, and in this case, in this time, nobody looked about remain, nobody looked about CO2, nobody looked about waste really. And in the last years, maybe the last 4 or 5 years, customers as also suppliers looking to these cases, and our customer, for example, knocked a lot of times on our door and say, oh, we would like to have more products, remanufacturing products without a lot of bad carbon footprint. They like with less carbon, with less CO2, and they like a little bit more clean products. And when you have a part with maybe 1 or 2 life cycles or 3, you have a guarantee for a very good carbon footprint. And that was also a reason that a customer from us knocked on our door and said, please give us more remanufacturing parts, maybe more as we can. We needs the old cores, the old parts, used parts back to our company. And then we talk about around about 40 till 50 tons every day we get, and we bring back maybe around about 80 till 95% from this material back in the next life cycle from the next product. And that is for the customer a good business case, and also for us a good business case. And when I look into our supplier, same, when we not have our cradle-to-cradle system and the framework from the cradle system, we never looking before about what is really important for us and what is toxic inside the product we buy from our suppliers. But now with the cradle-to-cradle certificate, we need, I think we need non-toxic materials inside our product, and then we give this product our customers. A customer has the same wish, and that's a little bit the journey. We sit in the middle, but for us, very important. We have also the whole line with clean material, with 100% green energy, and also our customers need the same. And when we have closed this loop, I think we make a good business in the whole business, in the whole industry system.
Thank you, Jörg, for sharing this experience. Nanja, you are very clearly, with your company, spearheading circularity in the healthcare industry. What is the status in general on circularity in the healthcare industry? What are the latest types of discussions there? And where do you see the biggest challenges and opportunities?
Yeah, so you could say it's still maturing within the pharma industry. We do have some of these discussions also, as I said, like in Novo Nordisk, moving to the product level. So not only about how we produce our medicines and devices, but also, what happens with these products also after use. For example, looking into how is this thrown out at the patient's home? Can we set up take-back programs and so on? Like Novo Nordisk is now piloting a device take-back program in Denmark, and we're also looking into, you could say, industry-wide solutions on this problem. Of course, plastic is an issue. There's a lot of plastic consumption within hospitals and healthcare in general. Also, some of it is single-use equipment. So that is, of course, a big challenge. I think it will never be, you could say, a key selling point for our products that some sort of environmental certification or improvement, because what we really need to bring to the patient is a better life, right, with better treatment. But that being said, I think we as an industry needs to also take the responsibility to move towards a lower environmental impact of our products. And I think we also need to somehow, you could say, be fit for the future in terms of what would be future requirements from our customers and from authorities in general. For example, on the plastic issue, we know that plastic taxes and different instruments are being set up on plastic. So how will that hit the pharma industry in the future? And in terms of circular economy, I think there are some key drivers there that enables us to actually make some changes in terms of looking at the raw materials we're using. Can they be renewable? Looking at recycling production waste internally, and also, as I said, taking care of the products when they become waste. And we do see a movement towards more thinking in terms of circular economy, but it's still, as I said, that there's not a lot of requirements from our customers, and that means that everything we do, it might be a little bit difficult to go back to top management and demonstrate that this is a good idea and this is the perfect business case. So it's more about taking the responsibility and believing in that being a sustainable business in the long run is also about taking environmental responsibility and believing that also some of our shareholders actually value this, and first of all, simply taking the responsibility because we can.
And if we give to our audience a little bit a future perspective, a vision for the next years, Nanja, how do you see could the healthcare industry really integrate a sustainable business model? What would have to happen? What could be the key change there to make this happen?
I think there are some technological gaps right now in terms of, for example, having recycled materials that are suitable for medical devices. That's just a good example. I think that we want to move in the right direction, but we also need the technology to develop. That's the same with taking back our products. We need the recycling technology to actually exploit these resources. And I do see also that with time we will maybe also push a bit more to have some of these requirements and make sure that the things that we do for the sake of the environment is also valued by our different stakeholders, also authorities across the world. And I do believe that when we see more governments taking action on climate change and plastic issues, at some point in time, hopefully, that will also mean that we set higher requirements to the pharmaceutical industry. Of course, that is somehow already happening, but not really at the product level yet. So that would be what I would hope to see in the future.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for this vision, Nanja. Jörg, if we look at the mobility sector, what is your vision for a sustainable, ideally carbon positive mobility sector?
Yeah. I like a little bit looking for the next month or the next end of the year. When you ask me on the 24th December, I would like to say, maybe we can give Santa Claus a wish. I would like to say, please Santa Claus, give me more examples for the industry, more best practices. Not so much good examples. The reason that we have a lot of people say, we don't like to try. And please give me also more incentives maybe from the government to improve the business. And also maybe for customers who have the same state of mind. And I think we need more design for remanufacturing examples. When we start very early with thinking about circular economy, we start to produce and we production and we have the design manufacturing as the first step and save so much money and also save so much waste for the next generation product. And I think we must change the thinking about waste. Waste is, in my opinion, not a type of word for the materials, used materials. When we change the waste to the maybe used materials, we can save so much raw materials. Raw materials not so much in Europe or in Germany, more in the other world. But when we not take control of the raw materials of the world, so we must look for the material we can use in circle. That's more or less my last wish on this point. For the future, we must think in closed loops or better closed material circles and maybe the word waste with maybe used material.
Well, thank you, Jörg, for this very ambitious vision that you have painted for us. And Hans, the final word over to you. What will it take really to make environmentally and socially responsible leather value chain a reality by 2025?
Yeah. That is a very good, but also a very difficult question, and I can give an obvious answer to that, which then would be you need perseverance, you need dedication, you need hard work, but that's almost everywhere and for everything these days. Mm-hmm. I think to really answer your question, what we really need is an informed consumer. Still, a lot of people think that cattle is raised to make a leather bag. They don't see it as a byproduct of the food industry, and that is why some consumers these days prefer to buy a plastic or man-made material bag instead of a leather bag. And so I would put on number one, what is needed, an informed consumer, one who not only thinks about the wallet and how to buy more, but also takes into account that we need to take care of the planet. And then cheap is not necessarily better. I think on the contrary. And I think if as a ladder value chain, we can really grab the attention of the end consumer, thereby, of course, engaging the brands and the OEMs, and then really clean up some of the practices from the past in the ladder value chain, then I think we're on the right path. But without really good understanding at the consumer level, I think it will be tough, and that's also the reason why we spend a lot of time and effort on educating and engaging brands and end consumers.
Well, first of all, thank you so much to all three of you for the leadership that you are really taking in your respective sectors. And thank you, Hans, Nanja, and Jörg, for sharing your valuable insights and perspectives today with us.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Another company that makes products for tomorrow already today is Troldect, a Danish manufacturer of acoustic panels. Troldect is a sponsor to our event, and we will hear in a brief video more about their cradle-to-cradle certified leadership journey. After the video, I will be in conversation with the World Business Council for Sustainable Development.